There's an old phone number. Havemeyer for these metal trap doors that you see around are one of the more reliable places you can still spot these things. These little metal placards have been there probably since the 60s. It's not too common to see three letters used. There's another old phone number. I'm sure I've pointed this one out before. This is the first one that I ever noticed. So this one opened my eyes to the fact that these old phone numbers are still lingering. That's Astoria 4, 5500. That Millionaire Realty's been closed a long time. I didn't realize that until maybe the last year or so. So I don't know how long that sign's going to be around. It's over with me and the Dr. Babe since last week. It was perfectly amicable and perfectly mutual. We both wanted very different things. I got out because, I'll just say this much, she wanted me to do a bunch of stuff I just did not want to do. And she even managed to get me to do a bunch of stuff that I did not want to do, but it's fine. There's no harm or anything. She basically exited my life without a trace. It had only been since mid-April. So, no entanglements, nothing to unravel. I am just left to ask, though, why? Honestly, why does a young woman like this come after a middle-aged guy like me? My last big thing ended in August. That woman was 27. And her pursuit of me, she was on a mission. I don't get it, I look in the mirror, I don't see anything. I look in this mirror, all I see are the cars driving by behind me. And the interesting patterns in the glass door. That's all I see when I look in the mirror. So see what happens next. See who enters my life next and what happens with that. I do feel like my life in this realm has been a lot more interesting than it would be if I had been with the same person for 30 years. But that's just me, I remember once I was at a bar where I was good friends with the owner, and this couple came in and they were bragging about it being their 40th wedding anniversary. And I was happy for them. I wasn't gonna question it, certainly. What have you been doing with the last 40 years of your life? But when they left, the owner of the bar and I were just like, God, that sounds so boring. but never would I impugn the meaning of 40 years of marriage between these two people, because it obviously suits them or suited them. It's all good. And there's another one on a metal trap door. Evergreen, that was a Greenpoint area telephone exchange name. I only discovered this one recently. I thought I knew where they all were around here, but I don't remember seeing Evergreen on one of these trap doors until this one. And look at this, another one right on the same block. This is just 2 or 3 buildings down. This is telephone exchange name country, man. It's another Havemeyer. This is 33rd Street in Astoria. I like that dude. But my that little bit about being with the same person for 30 years didn't just kind of come out of nowhere. I went over to visit a friend a few days ago. When I got there, he was doing a FaceTime video call with his parents. The dad looked pretty good as far as I could tell. his mother is like incoherent and blurting out obscenities. She's had dementia now for a whole bunch of years, but they remain married for like 55 years, I think, 54 years. And good for them, I guess, but I'm looking at this and trying to imagine myself in that position. I'm just like, no, 50 years, 50 plus years with the same person would never have happened, even if some situation like that presented itself. But then that's how I get over the sentiment that I've let some really beautiful ones get away. I have let some really wonderful women get away from me, but as wonderful as they were, I just couldn't imagine spending my entire life with one of them. I was on a bus once where I was sitting behind a young woman who was talking to a friend on her phone, and I could only hear her side of the conversation, of course, but they were obviously talking about their mutual college friends and where are they now and what are they doing since graduation. And the one computer programming dude was making a lot of money apparently, and he had found some woman, and I don't know, I wasn't really keeping up with the conversation until I heard her say, do you think Lisa will be the first to get married? And she dragged on the letter M on the word married, like she was saying something sacred, or, you know, it's like she couldn't refrain from showing how she regarded marriage as this sacred, or I don't know, I'm at a loss to explain why this made such an impression on me, but I just wanted to ask this woman, like, what is it with young people today that still culturally still assume that marriage and spending the rest of your life with one person is the default path? It's like a badge of honor. Why is it still like that? I didn't think, but it's not a judgment, it's an honest question. It's like, if that's going to make you happy, I'm happy for you. I've been to tons of weddings, and I always get a little weepy because these folks made a decision and they're going to stick with it. But anyway, when I say I get weepy at weddings, I'm also a little cynical about it at the same time. I guess I get weepy about the idea that these two people made this, what is probably the most important decision they'll ever make in the course of their life, for better or worse. But statistically, it's a coin toss. Half of them aren't going to even want to talk to each other in the coming years. But still, that institution, I still have some measure of awe that two people would enter into such a union and expect it, you know, with the expectation that it's going to be till death do they part. That still fills me with some sense of amazement. I think that's supposed to be body scrub, body rub maybe, but I don't think Serb is right. This is a new food hall that's finally showing some signs of progress. It's been in the works for like 2 years now, I think. It's right next to the subway, as you probably just heard. It's very loud, but looks promising. And by the way, look what I just found. A Kenwood double cassette deck. And I could actually use this to digitize some cassettes that have been moldering away in a drawer. Somebody labeled it good condition, so we'll see about that. And here is some of what's left of what used to be my regular bar, or one of my regulars. I think I was here several times a week for probably about 7 or 8 years before I pretty well just gave up on bars altogether. I used to be friends with the owner, but we had some disagreements. I always liked the space. Of course, now it looks like it's a mess, but it's been up for lease for maybe 3 years now. Has it been that long? The pandemic threw a year away, didn't it?